I'd like to give a special thanks to PIA Indiana for the opportunity to connect with you folks. Today we're going to be going over the customer experience via social media, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your schedule to join us today. And the only other thing I'd like to mention right away is that if anybody has questions, please feel free to type them into the chat on GoToMeeting. I can't see the chat while I'm presenting, but at the end I will be going over all the questions that were asked during the segment, and I have a little bit of time afterwards to ask any additional questions. Additionally, my contact information, including my LinkedIn as well as my email address and things like that, will be available at the end. So if you have any questions or you want to stay connected, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. But without further ado, let's get started. First thing I'd like to bring up, considering the customer experience via social media, is your agency's brand. I don't want to get too off subject here and go into a whole PowerPoint on branding because that's not what we're here for today. But I wanted to just bring up your brand because when it comes to marketing, whether it's digital, traditional, or what have you, it's always important to keep your brand in the forefront of your mind. This way, when we look at things like the customer experience, you want to just not look at the customer service that your customers receive when they show up physically into your agency or give your agency a phone call. While that's an incredibly important piece of the overall customer experience puzzle, we also want to look at the entire journey and put ourselves into our customers' footsteps so we can actually get a feel of what it's like every step along the way. So with that being said, the reason I want to bring up your brand is because by having a brand that's both consistent and impactful, you'll be able to leave not only just a first impression with your audience online, but you'll be able to send a message and actually resonate with them. And that's super important because we're in a business where we're not just chasing new leads or trying to develop business on a constant basis, but it's also highly critical for us to nurture our customer relationships every step along the way, because we are in a business of renewals, and that is something super important for us to consider. So by including your brand on everything that you push out on social media, whether it's written content, video content, visual content marketing, things like that, if you keep things consistent, you'll actually be able to resonate with your clients and audience and things like that, and build a long-lasting, loyal relationship with those individuals. So the only thing I'd like to say about the brand is, it should be included on all aspects of your social media marketing. We have a set of branding guidelines, and I do have the link available here on the screen. I believe everybody will be getting a copy of this presentation at the end, so if you want, you can check out our branding guidelines online. And if you're interested in creating your own branding guidelines, I'd be happy to share with you Kelly Donahue-Piro's information. She's the person who came up with this branding guide for our team. And essentially, this guideline comes into play. Our marketing people sit down, they review all of the guidelines, and any marketing content that's pushed out follows these guidelines in order to keep things consistent. So we can have that impactful impression on our audience that's going to make that long-lasting relationship. All right, next up, I want to ask, what is social media to you? Because a whole lot of agents and brokers they have a different opinion on social media, and I just kind of like to share mine with you if I could here. Social media, a lot of the time we look at it and we say, there could be a great opportunity for developing leads. There could be, all sorts of opportunities for driving new business and things like that. But to me, that's not the primary strength of social media. While you can develop new relationships and new leads through social media, what I see the strength of social media is almost like another communication channel. When we look at the customer experience, we have to consider all aspects of our customer's journey. One step along the way is asking our customers, how do you want to be communicated with? Because that's critical. We won't know that answer unless we ask. So we ask each and every one of our clients and customers on our phone calls, what is your, we ask for their name, email, and phone number so we can get a hold of them, but we also ask, what's your preferred method of communication? And part of our email marketing process is to actually link them to all of our social media channels, so that way we can start building that personable relationship that's going to make them a raving fan and loyal follower of our agency. So social media, to me, is just one more form of communication that's going to allow for stronger relationship building. So that being said, first thing I would like to dive right into is Facebook. It's my personal favorite social media network. That's not the only reason I want to talk about it. It's also one of our agency's personal strongest social media networks. We have quite a large following there, and we have a lot of interaction and engagement with our customers and clients through this social media platform. So I'd like to talk about its individual strengths and how we make use of it here at Paradiso Insurance. So here's a quick snapshot of our agency, Facebook. A couple of things that'll jump out at you right away is our brand. You can see our red design elements as well as our branded fonts, whether it's the standard font or the cursive font with it. These are all, these visual content marketing pieces are all crafted with accordance to the branding guidelines that I had mentioned earlier. And if you look at this snapshot here, you can see it also tells our response rate, which basically tells our customers if they send us a message, how quickly we will respond and how likely we are to respond to them. You can see our total likes. We can see how many people have checked in here, which we will review check-ins in just a few slides. And a couple other things show up. We can schedule posts and things like that. So moving along, let's go over a couple posts that you might see on our Facebook network, and I just want to go through a couple examples that your agency could essentially follow suit with implementing your own strategy. One of the types of posts that we do on Facebook is visual customer testimonials. This is important for the customer experience. When you're thinking about, let's say you're a customer and you're thinking about considering other insurance options for one option or for one reason or another, and you actually are on Facebook and this testimonial hits your feed. Now, not only are you getting an idea of the agency's brand, and you're getting the first impression through visual content marketing, which is highly important that you include visuals in all of your posts. The reason is that visual content included in a post will get that post 98% more engagement on social media than if it were just to be a plain text post. So they get an idea of your agency's brand, but then they get an idea of what it's like to work with your agency on a one-on-one basis from another customer's point of view. So that's super important for the customer experience, for them helping decide, what options are available. Because when you think about their journey, the first step of the customer experience is when the customer develops a problem that your agency can help them with. So with that being said, the first thing that they're going to do, first and foremost, they're going to ask for word-of-mouth referrals from their friends and family. We all know that when it comes to new business in any industry, word-of-mouth referrals is the strongest form of developing that new business. But then right after that, if they don't get the referral they're looking for, they're going to hop online. And they're going to look for agencies within the area, which is why things like search engine optimization and showing up on the top rank of Google is super important. But if they were to discover something like a testimonial while looking for your agency online, now they can start the first initial process of building that long-lasting, trusting relationship. So we're going to go ahead and post visuals that demonstrate our customer testimonials, and then what we'll do with that post, we'll also include a link to our website when it's applicable. The reason being is because we can drive more traffic to our agency website, which at the end of the day will help our, our search engine optimization, our SEO, for showing up on that #1 slot on Google. So then over here on the right, you can see another example of one of our posts being a business partner post. We essentially have a program called the Partners of Paradiso, for those who are not familiar. It's essentially a program for our commercial clients where we offer them free marketing. Myself and my partner Alicia will actually take a trip out to the client's shop, and essentially we'll take pictures, we'll talk with the owner and meet their team, and we'll ask them about any specials or promotions that they have going on that they'd like broadcasted online, or we'll just learn about their business in general if they don't have any specials or things like that. And we'll essentially teach their message about their business to all of our personal lines customers online. So it's a way of kind of commingling the businesses together and helping our clients out in ways that separate us from our competition. Because there's not going to be another insurance agency in our local area that's just coming out to, create visual content marketing like you can see in this post right here. We also create blogs for our partners. We create videos for our partners, and we'll push them out to 6 social media networks. So that way they get more visibility, and they can say at the end of the day, oh, there's no way I would leave Paradiso Insurance. They drove all this business to me. So that's a great way to give back to our partners. We use the hashtags that we find appropriate to get them more traction. And of course, hashtags, if you're not familiar, are when you you use the number sign, which is also called a hashtag sign, and you use tags or keywords or phrases that allow you to find more traction online within your posts. You can essentially consider hashtags sort of like an online file cabinet system, where if you had the hashtag Connecticut, like we see in this post here, you could essentially open through the drawer of the filing cabinet, see a folder called Connecticut, and pull out all of the posts that have to do with Connecticut. So it's a good way, if people are looking up Connecticut online, this post would have showed up, and it'll get more traction that way from people trying to discover posts similar to your messages. So moving on, A couple more example posts on what you could typically see on our agency's Facebook. Over here on the left, we have our agency's commitment called the Paradiso Promise. And essentially what our promises are is a guarantee to our customers that we are going to not only service them, but give them the most fantastic customer experience. And of course, if we ever go outside of our promises, no matter who it is within our agency, we want Chris Paradiso to know right away, so that way we can make things right. And one of our promises even says that we will admit to our mistakes, and that's super important for the customer experience. For instance, we recently had a customer who wanted to reach out to us. They had basically, we were calling them for renewals. We call all of our customers on renewals, but we had sent them an email 45 days prior to their renewal. And then at the 30-day mark, we called them for their renewal because we didn't hear back on the email. Now, the reason we didn't hear back is because we should have asked a crucial question at the beginning of the relationship on what their most preferred way to communicate is. Even though we got their email in that customer-specific situation, we actually did not put it on file that they can only be contacted by phone. When we did call them, they said to us, well, I haven't checked that email in about 2 years. So we wouldn't have even known, but the situation was that they actually knocked down their house and they started building a new house. It was a totally different size. It turns out that the homeowner's insurance policy would have been nullified. They were uninsured for that period of time. It was only like 15 days, essentially, thankfully, because we reached out to them on time. But they would have needed a builder's risk policy. We would have needed to go over all their information for them again, and things like that. So it's critical that you not only stick to your promises, but also ask how your customers want to be communicated with. So we keep our promises in the forefront of our mind with all of our customer relationships. We want to go above and beyond, but not only the customer service, but the customer experience as a whole. And over on the right here, you can see another post that essentially supports our brand, both with the message as well as with the visual content marketing included. This is a post that we made for people to print out, which is a great idea for our Valentine's Day campaign. We are huge supporters of our troops. We're huge patriots. We love things like the American dream. That all speaks to our agency's brand. So what we did with this post is we created a printout for our customers that they could use to give to their loved ones who are either a veteran or in the military actively servicing. And that's a way that we can give back to our our veterans, as well as start circulating a branded post not only online but also in print marketing as well. And who knows, that could lead to a word of mouth referral at the end of the day. Excuse me one second. Moving on, we're going to talk about driving engagement with your customers and clients on social media. This is incredibly important because when you think about social media networks, some of the time we'll see people within a commercial business world start up a Facebook page or start up a Twitter page or what have you, and then after that they kind of go stagnant with it. They think that just having a social media network is enough, and I'm here to promise you that that is not the case. If you are active on social media, you need to be active and engaging every day, whether it's posting on a daily basis or actually answering your notifications, which is critical because if you look at this left picture, we had a time-month contest. It was a great way for people to just send us their pictures. You can see our brand on the visual, and you got Max, our agency mascot. He's our rescue dog. We're all about animal lovers, and adopt, don't shop. That's a huge part of our brand as well. So you can see our brand both visually as well as within the message for this post. And we're looking to drive engagement with our customers and clients by having them send us their fun pictures and things like that. And it's a great way to have them just, when you look at engagement and connecting with your customers and getting them to post to your social media, now let's say we have this person, Crystal, over here on the right in this screenshot. Crystal may have a whole new audience online that's part of her network that I may not personally be connected with on Paradiso Insurance already. And when they see her commenting on our posts with her picture for a contest, that's going to hit a whole new network. It's going to enter the news feed. Let's say she's friends with an individual named Jill. Jill could log on to Facebook and see that Crystal commented on Paradiso Insurance. Think it's pretty fun. She might even comment on her post if it's something that has speaks her language. So we're looking to not only reach out to more networks, but we're looking to engage our customers for another critical reason. And that's because if you go on Facebook with the intention of just creating the Facebook, doing a few initial posts, and then it goes on the back burner, someone could log on and say, for instance, if we hadn't posted, this was posted at February 3rd, if we hadn't posted since February 3rd as an agency online, someone will come online and see us like we're closed for business online. And that's not the impression you want to leave with your customers and clients. You want to let them know you're actively engaging, you're not only part of the online community, but you're ready in a moment's notice if this is how they want to reach out to you. Because like I said, social media is just one more form of communication. So you want to make sure you're open for business online. All right, next up, we're going to look at some organic photos. So far, we've been looking at branded Photoshopped visuals like this one, where we have edited the photo. You can see this is clearly a fake background essentially, but this is our branded green with our branded yellow and our logo. We wanted to make sure that was nice and branded and edited visual. But these pictures right here are what we would call organic photos. These are just as they are when we snap the picture. We use smartphones to snap our pictures. The iPhones nowadays, they have great cameras, as well as the Droids and Samsungs and things like that. They're all coming with super high quality cameras. You can take pictures right off your phone for your social media networks. And in this case, we're looking at a few photos that are organic. And it's great to post organic photos because they're way more likely to get likes, comments, and things like that, things of that nature. And they're also a great way for us to show the agency and our staff, which is critical for the customer experience, because we want our customers to have a great idea of what it's going to be like to be one of our customers and to get that service in person before they ever open up the agency doors. So this is a great way of highlighting that. And over here on the right, we have special days and holidays with the staff. This is great for social media engagement. We had National Spouses Day, showed a few pictures of our staff with their spouses. And it's a great way to just say, hey, even at the post like that, we can say, hey, it's National Spouses Day. Here's some of our staff. Why don't you guys in our audience go ahead and share some of your photos as well with your spouse, so we can start building, again, that personable relationship while reaching out to other networks from our audiences, members of their networks as well. Next up, we have a few client photos. This, again, sort of ties into the Partners of Paradiso program, but we want to highlight our clients within our social media networks, so that way they feel as though we're giving back to them, we're driving them more business, and with commercial clients, we of course want that long-lasting relationship because their renewals are valuable to us as an agency. So here on the left, we have Best Massage. This is a gentleman who comes into the agency maybe once a year or so. After our busy season slows down a little bit, what we'll do for our ladies is we will hire a masseuse, and he comes in, we'll give him the spare room in the agency. He gets all set up with his massage table. The ladies love it. They super enjoy that day. They all go in. They have about a 30 to 45-minute session with our friend Chris here, and they get a massage. He gets good business from it. We get the social media exposure that he's looking for, and it's a win-win at the end of the day for both our staff as well as for Chris here at Best Massage. He's getting more exposure for his business. And then over here on the right, this is an example of a post where we get involved with giving back to our community. That's another huge part of our agency's brand, and I think that's super important for independent agents everywhere to not only get involved with your local community, but showcase it on your social media. Now, I want to make sure that you guys understand, though, getting involved with your local community is not a marketing ploy. The real goal at the end of the day is that we want to make, essentially, we want to make America and the world a better place to live, one small local community at a time. And as independent agents, we have a voice within the community. Not that I'm an independent agent, but as a marketing professional as well, we have a voice within our community, and we have the power to make a difference. So this is one of our campaigns where we give back to the local community, speaks to our brand, got a ton of visibility because people love to see that you're an active member of the community, that you're trying to make the place better to, a better place to live. So with this campaign, this is Reverse Trick or Treat. Essentially what we did is we got on the phone with the Connecticut Children's Medical Center, and we know that those kids who are at the Connecticut Children's Medical Center during the Halloween season, they can't have any candy. The reason is because it could have a negative impact on certain patients that are getting things like cancer treatment, if there's nuts or anything like that. And we want to make sure that those kids can still enjoy the holiday, because it can be pretty depressing for some of our young folks who can't go out or can't enjoy the festivities. So we try to bring the festivities to them. And what we do is we have a donation and toy drive. We do things like crayons, arts and crafts, small toys, small stuffed animals, and the whole front foyer will be filled with toys by the end of October. And that's something that we call to our local community for help. So we just do announcements, we do videos, we do a blog, we do all sorts of social media announcements, and we spur our community to say, hey, stop into our agency with a donation. We would love to help out, or see our local community help out as well with the Connecticut Children's Medical Center Reverse Trick or Treat donation drive. Now, this not only gets us great exposure, but now people are stopping into our agency as well. And there's a very high chance that Chris Paradiso is going to stop by, say hello, say thank you, ask them how things are going, and start building a relationship right then and there. So there's several ways that getting involved with your local community will help your agency as a whole. Next up, I'm going to talk briefly about blog content. If some people are saying why blogs, the reason being, first and foremost, blog is going to seriously help your SEO on Google and other search engines, because each time you blog, you are creating another landing page on your agency website. So when you think back on Paradiso Insurance, we started blogging years ago now, and we do 2 blogs a week. So we must have, I want to say, close to 1,000 blogs on our website now. So that's 1,000 more landing pages on our website that when Google runs through and does their scan on who should have the best SEO, they're going to see that we're not only adding content on a regular basis, but the content is rich, it's authentic, because we take our time. We don't do things, try to do cheat strategies such as keyword stuffing, because that's not going to get you anywhere in today's world. And keyword stuffing is essentially where you take, for instance, with this blog, one of our keywords would be Connecticut business. This is a blog for businesses to embrace Facebook ads. We were just giving a little bit of advice and tips and things like that on our Paradiso Insurance blog, so that way our commercial clients can start to get more visibility. We also included a backlink in that blog to the partners of Paradiso for those who are interested in joining our program. So there were 2 different target objectives with this specific blog, but again, blogging is a great way to help your SEO. As long as you don't cheat it, it's authentic. Your blog should be anywhere from 350 to 800 words, and of course include visuals wherever you can. We see that, I believe we have a metric along the lines of blogs with a visual every 150 words within the body of the blog will receive 68% more engagement than blogs without. So it's a great way to not only broadcast your brand, but send a message to your clients that also speaks to your agency as a whole. So we do use the opportunity to share our blogs on social media, and this is a multi-step process to how we do that, because when we write our blogs, we use something called a marketing persona to come up with the content. And I don't want to go too far into personas, but if anybody would like to reach out to me about personas later on, I'd be more than happy to get you squared away with a persona template and things like that, so you can start building personas for your agency. But essentially what a marketing persona is, sort of like a buyer profile that your agency comes up with, and it's to showcase your best customers. So for instance, one of our niche markets is we actually sell to independent contractors and independent service providers that handle trucking, shipping, and handling. And we're huge in the FedEx market and things like that. So one of our personas would be telling the story of a FedEx driver, and it tells his age, income, team size, company size, every little detail about this individual. And it is, sort of like a make-believe individual. We give him a fake name for the persona, sort of like FedEx Frank, just off the top of my head. And we run through all the details of who FedEx Frank would be, both in and outside of his professional life. And this helps us get an idea of what it's like to live a day in the life of that persona profile. And then we can start thinking about, for instance, we had a small business owner persona that we wrote this blog for. And we designed the content to specifically speak to that target market or that target persona. So that way we can get not only the right content in front of them, but then we can hit the right eyes with the right content. And what I mean by that is when you boost posts, you can use targets, and we'll run through that in a slide coming up here, boosting posts. But when you write a blog, you can write it based on your best customers to attract more of the like-minded individuals, so you can sell to more of those folks. And then we can target it with a boost that will specifically lay out all of those same details within your persona as well. And excuse me here, folks, I am next to Main Street, downtown Stafford, so it's a little bit of a busy road, but we can make things work here. So I'll go over the details of a boosted post in a couple slides, but before we get there, we also take the time to upload our videos to Facebook. And this is important for our video marketing strategy, and I'll let you know why. It's super important to upload all of your videos to YouTube because when you think about it, YouTube is owned by Google, and Google makes the rules on SEO. So when we're considering things like SEO, we try to, if we ever have some content that we can create a video for, what we'll do is we'll also write a blog and create a landing page on our website for that video. For instance, we recently had our Flag Day campaign where we invite the whole town and surrounding towns to come into our agency. We do free food, we give away free American flags, we give away free t-shirts and things like that. We just invite everybody to come down. We end up giving away hundreds of t-shirts and flags. And what we did is we did a blog that recapped the event as a whole and said, hey, here's how things went, here's some pictures, here's all of our visitors, and things like that. But then we also create a video to have, more of a stimulating, engaging form of content to go over the same material but in a different lighting. And then what we do is a multi-step strategy to make sure our SEO is on point. What we'll do is we'll have the landing page with our blog on our website. We'll embed the video as part of the blog. So once you scroll down to the bottom of the blog, you can click play on our video right there and then. It's embedded from YouTube. But then we also upload that same video to YouTube, as I mentioned, so it's embedded in the blog. When it is uploaded to YouTube, we go into the video's description and backlink the blog. So that way the blog and YouTube are connected both ways there. But then we go ahead and upload it to Facebook. Now, this isn't necessarily going to help our SEO as much, but the reason that we upload to Facebook is because video content is extremely engaging on Facebook. In my personal newsfeed, when I log on to Facebook in the evenings, as Joe, when I'm not using Paradiso Insurance, I'll go on, and I want to say about more than 75% of my personal newsfeed is now video content. And the great part about it is if you're on a mobile device and you're just scrolling through your feed, if a video pops up, it's going to start playing automatically. And the same thing on the desktop or computer. It'll start playing automatically. And usually people, if it's an interesting form of content, they'll take at least a few seconds to stop, see what's going on, and you have more of a chance to win their interest over with a video content. Now, if I were to do the same thing with uploading a video to YouTube, then posting the link onto our agency Facebook page, that video is not going to play automatically. So I upload the videos directly to Facebook with a raw video file in order to get more engagement and interaction on that post. And then once we have a video that will play automatically once it hits a news feed, we'll go ahead and boost that post as well, hit all the right eyes, and then it'll not only show up in people's newsfeed outside of our network, but it'll play automatically, and we'll have a chance to win that new prospect's attention, start building a relationship based on the customer experience on social media. Real quick, I also wanted to mention, optimal posting times for Facebook. This is something I get asked for a lot. I actually have a cheat sheet ready to go for Paradiso Presents that goes through the optimal posting times for each social media network that we are active on. So if you'd like that, feel free to email me after this, and I'll be happy to send that your way. But with Facebook, we say you should post at least 1 time a day and no more than 3 times a day as a business profile. If you're posting more than 3 times a day on a Facebook, on a business profile, you might want to consider opening up a Twitter or something like that that's a little bit more rapid fire with the content. The reason is Facebook users are not looking for 3 posts to hit their newsfeed in 1 day from the same business. So they might think you're a little bit either desperate or spammy. They could be apt to unfollow you, and that's not what we're looking for here. So we say, 1 post a day. We'll sometimes post 2 times a day as an agency as well, if there's a special event going on. For instance, if we have our regular post would be a blog post on a Wednesday, and then later that day one of the ladies downstairs had a birthday party, we'll also go ahead and share a few visuals of the birthday party as a more organic form of posting. So 1 post a day, and we say the best time is between 1 and 3 p.m. That can be extended to 4 p.m., but between 3 and 4 is not as you won't get as the same amount of traffic as you would 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 is really optimal. Okay, let's talk about boosting a little bit, like we mentioned earlier. Here we have another example of one of our Paradiso Insurance blogs. This one was about 9 ATV essentials. We're looking at different persona entirely than the commercial business persona. But we have, a nice form of content. We have the brand. It's a blog, so it goes right to our website. If you were to click on, this picture on Facebook or anywhere in this text, it would bring you right to our website. So it's great for, driving traffic if we reach people outside our network through the power of a boost. So with boosting, This screen will come up once you click boost on any of your posts, and then you can choose with audience. See how it has up here, we went and highlighted it right here. You can click on people you choose through targeting, and this will allow you to look at specific demographics. And not only that, you can save your audience in case you'd like to use it again in the future. So if I were to do another post about ATV insurance or tips having to do with ATV or anything along those lines, I would again be able to select this audience in the future and target them very easily instead of starting from scratch. So we're going to look at, trying to look at targeted demographics for people who are part of our ATV audience. We can pick Connecticut because we're looking to write more personal lines insurance in Connecticut. Select our targeted, age. We find that men are more typical to enjoy the ATV content than our female audience. And then we have all sorts of interests that we can include to make sure we're only hitting the eyes of the ATV folks. That's going to help with driving more traffic to your website if you have included a link, as well as driving more engagement, things like likes, comments, and shares on your posts. So a great way to expand your network and reach more people that you haven't already connected with as an agency page. Next up, this is an example of a GIF taken from our Facebook campaign. This is essentially, we wanted to use an example of using GIFs on Facebook because this is another form of moving content. If I were to log onto my phone, see that, it is my birthday today, so to speak, or it's not my birthday, but hypothetically, if it were my birthday today, we could log on, see this birthday post in our notifications, click on the notification, and this post is going to be moving the second we arrive on this screen. So what we do is, just so you guys, this is an interesting campaign because the thing about this is we want to wish all of our customers, like Sarah, for instance, here, we want to wish them a happy birthday every day. The reason being is because we have a birthday video that we've linked on YouTube in this bit.ly link, and bit.ly is I know I'm getting a little bit off subject here, but bit.ly is a link shortening service that essentially our video link was like 2 lines long, looked a little bit ugly for posting. We wanted it to shorten and truncate it so it looks a little bit nicer and cleaner in their posts. So we use a service called bit.ly. You can write that down. And once you get to bit.ly, it's very simple. I'll actually show you guys live in action how it works. You can essentially go to bit.ly, and let's say I wanted to go to our agency's Facebook and shorten a link to our agency's Facebook page. If I were to go to bit.ly, this screen will come up. It has a bar in the middle. It says paste a link to shorten it. So this is the link to our agency's Facebook. If I wanted to shorten the link, all I would have to do is copy this link right here from our agency Facebook, paste it into bit.ly's service, and click on shorten. I'm not sure if I have the best connection right now, but I apologize there. I think the webinar is probably taking up a lot of my connection. But essentially, you click on shorten, and this link would become a bit.ly link that looks, much smaller, such as the example I have for you here on screen. Oh, sorry about that. Let's get back to the right slide. So with bit.ly, it's a matter of making your posts look a little bit more cleaner. So we use that as part of the campaign. But also bit.ly makes a trackable shortened link, so that way it comes with metrics and things of that nature. One second here. There we go. Just trying to get us back on track here, folks. I'll just go ahead right to our slide. So with our birthday campaign, essentially we include the bit.ly link. It goes to our agency's YouTube video page, which will help our SEO at the end of the day if it's getting views every day. So we do this every day with everyone who has a birthday. The only thing I wanted to mention is that if you'll notice, this post was posted by Chris Paradiso. Now, the reason we do that is because as an agency page, or any business page for that matter, you cannot post as a business page to a personal user's account. So I can't post as Paradiso Insurance to Sarah Stark's timeline on Facebook, because it's simply not in Facebook's policy to allow that. So what we do is we post it from Chris Paradiso, and then in order to get the traction and engagement that we're looking for, we say, happy birthday, Sarah. We'll tag her, and by tagging her, this will enter more news feeds within Sarah's network, so we can have more people outside of our network see our posts. Then we tag Paradiso Insurance right here. And if people were to mouse over Paradiso Insurance on Facebook, they can see our agency location, phone number, times of operation hours, and things like that. The full details on Paradiso Insurance, and that's pretty much the entire birthday campaign in a nutshell. All right, now moving on real quick here. I know a lot of people are probably not familiar with how to create GIFs, which the GIF, again, is just a moving picture. It's not a video file, it's a picture file, but it is moving just like a video would be, and it's set to loop forever. So if you're interested in making your own GIFs for your own agency here, I've actually put together a video on how to use GIFs in marketing. It tells about a little bit about video marketing. It tells about GIFs, how to create them, and where to post them, and things like that. So if you're interested, you can just type in how to use GIFs in marketing, Paradiso Presents, right into YouTube, and it should be the first result that comes back into search. Okay, next up, we're going to go through check-ins really quick here. A check-in is important because now you're looking at, like I said, when we do the engagement from our users from social media, this is another form of social media engagement and interaction where we're trying to get more people outside of the Paradiso Insurance network to see the Paradiso Insurance Facebook agency page. So with this example, this would be one of our customers here. What we do as part of our rewards program is we say to all of our customers, hey, if you're stopping into the agency, feel free to check in on Facebook while you're here visiting with the ladies. If you check in on Facebook, what we'll do is give you a $3 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. Your next copy is on us. So they check into Paradiso Insurance, and it looks, you basically have the option to check in right here. This is an example, of mobile checking in. They can click check in. Paradiso Insurance showed up right at the top of the list since they were, within our general vicinity physically. So it offered to check into Paradiso Insurance. They can go ahead and tap that, and then they can make a post. So this was one of our old coworkers here, Julia. She was saying ready for some pizza. I believe we had a birthday party that day for one of our employees. So she checked in really quick, ready for pizza, and that puts Paradiso Insurance as part of her post. So if people were to mouse over here, again, they'd have all of our information and a link right to our agency's Facebook page. So that's critical for touching people outside of your network, because if you have a customer, they have a whole network that you haven't connected with already, and you get them to check in while they're in person with your agency, now their whole network's going to get a chance to not only see your agency, but it's basically like a word of mouth referral right there saying, hey, I do business with Paradiso Insurance. It's pretty awesome. So their network's not only going to get a chance to see your agency Facebook page, but also know that that user was so inclined to do the check-in because they loved the service. They're probably having a great journey in their customer experience. Next up, let's go over Google+. The reason I wanted to include Google Plus here, a lot of people are wary about, is Google Plus on the way out? We're not sure what the details are there. But, I personally believe that Google Plus is here to stick around. Only reason is because Google requires it for so many things nowadays, such as commenting on a YouTube video. You can't even comment on a YouTube video if you don't have a Google Plus profile. So they made certain things a necessity to have a Google Plus, and a lot of users have created them. A lot of users haven't stayed active on them. But there is a strategy behind how you can find the users who are active to get more visibility on your social medias. So here's a quick snapshot of our Google Plus page. And Google Plus does, the reason I did want to include Google Plus as well, the big reason here is because, as I mentioned, Google makes the rules on SEO. And if you're staying active on Google Plus, that's going to seriously help your SEO, especially if you include things like credible backlinks to your agency's blog or your partners' websites and things like that. So here's a quick snapshot of our Google+. As you can see, like other social medias, it's got all of our contact information, our open hours, followers, and views. And yeah, we have had over 1 million views on Google+, so there is definitely still users on this profile. I'm sorry, on this social media network. So here's our Chris's personal, it says my personal Google+ page, but this is, of course, Chris Paradiso's. And we use a little bit of both. We use the agency's Google+ page as well as Chris Paradiso's, depending on what type of content we're posting, what we're looking to get visibility on, that sort of thing. But I want to go into a couple of posts you might see on our Google Plus and how to use this network efficiently. A lot of this network runs very similarly to Facebook, whether it's your objective or who you're looking to connect with, but there's a slightly different way of connecting with the right eyes. With Facebook, we boost a post to get in front of the right audience, but with Google Plus, what we're going to be doing is targeting interests and communities. So, for instance, a big part of our brand, as I mentioned, is that we love our military, we're huge patriots, and things of that nature. So this would be an example of one of the Google Plus posts that we would create. And when we create this post, we have our branded content. You know, we brought this into Photoshop, got our logo on it, got our branded font. It's in our branded blue. Everything is speaking to the Paradiso brand, not only message, but visually as well. And then we're going to post it to a military community. And this is actually going to get people who are specifically interested in posts on our military to see this post. It also goes public to our Paradiso Insurance Google Plus page, so anybody who's connected with Paradiso Insurance could also see this post. But if you're not directly connected with Paradiso Insurance on Google Plus, and you are also a part of this military community, you will still see the post. So now we're looking at connecting with a bunch of people who are interested in seeing military posts, and that's going to get our post way more engagement. If we were to have posted this just to our public, we would have gotten maybe 8+1s. But as you can see, we posted this to a community, and there was over 50. So the traction is just unreal if you're posting to communities. So it's important that, and over here we have another example of doing the same thing. We have a classic car post. We insure classics. It's a huge special product line for our agency. So we love to connect with the classic car junkies out there. We look for them on Google Plus. We look for them on Facebook, all over the place. But we use the corresponding hashtags and things like that. But as you can see with this post as well, 77 +1s on Google Plus, which is essentially a like, and 7 shares, so we hit 7 new networks as well, just with posting to the right audience at the right time. So if you're looking for communities, basically what you want to do is, when I was looking to develop the Paradiso Insurance communities, I just went right through our branded guide, saw that, you know, the American Dream is part of that. I looked into military communities, American flag, all sorts of stuff like that. Joined a bunch of communities that had people with similar interests. Then we looked at things like our special product lines, like classic cars. We joined classic cars, classic car enthusiasts, classic car community right here. We just start joining a whole bunch of communities. And then when you go to make your posts on Google Plus, you can choose when you add a post. It says you can either post as public or you can post to a community. And of course, if you have the right content, you can post it to the right community. So we would post military content to a military community, classic car content to a classic car enthusiast community, and so on and so forth. Next up, really quick here, I want to make sure, while we're on the subject of Google, this isn't necessarily Google Plus, but you need a Google Plus profile in order to do this. This is critical, absolutely critical. We want to make sure that if you live here, I want to make sure everyone implements at least one thing, and that's to make sure that your business is claimed on Google. If you do a quick Google search result of your business, essentially, you know, if I were to type in Paradiso Insurance, this option right here, own this business, would not be available because we claimed our business already. And by claiming your business, you can edit all of the information that displays on Google's sidebar right here in this area. You can change your address, your phone, your hours of operation to make sure they're all correct. And you can display different photos if you want people to have an idea, again, of the customer experience. You want them to have a few visuals that go along with what it's like to work with your agency and what their journey and experience is going to be like as a whole. So this is super important because if you don't claim your business, it's actually open for other people to claim. And that could be a bad thing for you, and potentially if someone claims your business, like let's say, for instance, if you're sitting on this webinar, and I'm not saying this is ethical, but you could have a competitor out there who says, well, I want to make sure that they don't have any control over this information. So they can go ahead and click own this business and start filling it out as if they own your insurance company. And that could lead to some unfortunate problems in having to contact Google. It could be a mess. So at the end of the day, I would suggest everybody make sure that their business is claimed on Google. Just do a quick Google search result of your agency and see if that own this business button comes up here on the right. And if it does, there's going to be a pretty straightforward process with your, verifying your information and things like that. So that way you are the only person who has control of your business's information on Google. Next up, I want to talk about Pinterest. And a lot of people ask me why Pinterest. I say, what could you possibly post? This is the space of insurance. Pinterest doesn't belong. And I would like to beg to differ. We have gotten probably the most exposure out of any social media network with Pinterest. We have a whole article on paradisopresents.com that talks about marketing via Pinterest. But I want to go over a few things with you guys really quick here today. So Pinterest is a great great way to visually represent your agency online. It's a super visually inclined network. There's all sorts of stimulating visuals on Pinterest already, but here's a quick snapshot of our Pinterest. You're going to basically want to, it's basically similar to Facebook, but it's strictly visual content marketing. So you can create boards of your choice. This is a way to organize your content so that way if your customers are looking for a specific message that your agency's visuals will be tied into, they can go to your profile and select a board that would, it would help them with organizing your content, so to speak. So if they just wanted to watch your videos and they were a follower on Pinterest, because you could have a follower who's on Pinterest and not on any other social media networks, they might be looking for your agency's content just here. So we did a board that includes our videos, includes our blogs, and then we made other boards that speak to our brand, such as Flags from Paradiso Insurance, which highlights our Flag Day campaigns, Think Local, Be Local, Buy Local, Eat Local. We're huge supporters of shopping local and shopping small. It's a huge part of our brand. Then we do things like tying in the customer experience. We have reviews from our customers as well as Friends from Paradiso. The Friends from Paradiso, that's other businesses in our local area. We want to highlight our commercial clients again so other potential commercial prospects can come on, see this, and be like, wow, that's a whole lot of visibility that our business could be getting through Paradiso Insurance. So we're starting to give them an idea of the customer experience as well as, speaking to our brand and visually organizing our content to be in the right place at the right time. Sorry about that. Okay, so this would be an example of one of our boards. This would be the Paradiso Insurance blog board. We do a blog every Monday and every Wednesday, and on that same day, it gets uploaded to Pinterest. We use appropriate hashtags, as you can see. Here we have the example of the how to run Facebook ads for your business again. And on Pinterest, we use all sorts of hashtags that would help it get discovered more, like social media marketing, hashtag Facebook, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag Paradiso Insurance, and all sorts of things like that. And of course, we named and described our board properly so that way our audience knows what to expect if they were to visit this board. Additionally, what we do, part of our strategy, I would say for Pinterest, we do probably about 15 pins a day. 5 of those pins are going to be original pins from Paradiso Insurance, whether it's a blog, a video, a piece of visual content marketing, or even an organic photo that was untouched, like we mentioned earlier. And we do 5 original pins a day, then we do 10 repins a day. And we look for content that speaks to our brand. So again, we have all these boards that we've created that speak to our brand and our agency's overall message. But now what we're going to do is populate those boards with posts from other users. The reason we do this is because, first of all, Pinterest is a very active social media network. So if you're not doing something like 10 posts a day, at least, then I would say you could be getting more traction potentially. If you're sticking to something like 5 posts a day, I honestly, when I first came into Paradiso Insurance, I was doing 5 posts a day personally, and Chris was doing about 5 on his own on the mobile, whether it's in the morning or in the evenings. And we started making sure that the marketing department, within a year that I was with this company, we started making sure that the marketing department alone, outside of whatever Chris does daily on his phone, because he's a social media addict, as a lot of you guys know. He'll go on, he has fun with it, he'd write from his phone, start making posts, any social media network. But what we do in just the marketing department is we take care of 15 pins every day. And again, 5 are original posts, 10 are repins. And to repin a piece of content, you can just go right onto Pinterest. They have a search bar right at the top, and you can type in keywords that would speak to the boards that you've created. And of course, these boards speak to your brand. So for instance, we have an awesome cars board where we love to paste classic cars, or we also have this classic cars board and classic car ads and posters. So we have several classic car boards because we know it's a huge product line for us. And we'll go ahead and go to the Pinterest search bar, type in classic cars, look for a post that we haven't already repinned, and essentially you can click on the post and there will be a pin it button. And you click on the pin it button, and then you can recreate the description on the post to include things like tagging your Facebook, or I'm sorry, your agency's Pinterest profile. That's what this @Paradiso INS is. We can do appropriate hashtags like Paradiso Insurance, Classic Car Insurance, to let our audience know that we will insure a classic like this. And we can even include a link to our website. And for this case, I would say, this is a post about classic cars, so we could link them right to the classic car page on our insurance website. Now we're driving more engagement to the, now we're driving more engagement to the agency website, but also letting people know, like, if you're a customer of ours, we're going to make our first impression as part of the customer experience journey, and then we're going to drive you to the website and let you know all about what it would be like to be a customer of ours if you were to insure a classic with us. So all huge steps to the customer experience's overall journey. A couple of details to get your pins, the most traction you want to see possible. You can actually go back and edit your pins. Once it says your pin is all set, you can hit, there's a button that comes up that says see it now. If you click on see it now, it goes right to your pin on Pinterest, and you can click on edit on your pin and include a couple more details, being your website and location tagging. So this is important because if you include a website on Pinterest, a URL, for instance, this is 3 do-it-yourself cleaning products that we posted in spring, during spring cleaning for the parents of the world, because a lot of our personal lines folks, one of our marketing personas is it's sort of like a common family here in town. They got a mother figure, father figure, 3 kids, combined income of over 120,000, things like that. We marked out the whole persona. We crafted a blog to speak to that persona. Now what we're going to do is edit the pin to include the website. That makes the whole pin a clickable link. So the entire picture is a clickable link for people visiting your pins. That's going to drive more traction to your agency website. And then what we do is we include Paradiso Insurance as a place to help things like our SEO, because that place is part of Google, and we had claimed our business on Google Plus and all of that already. So we include that as a Google location that helps our SEO, as well as if someone does want to get in touch with our agency, it's going to be super easy because they'll have our information, again, our physical address, phone number, and our operating hours, and all that great stuff included right in the post. Moving on, let's talk a little bit about Twitter, and I apologize, we may go a little bit over here, folks. I have 3 more networks to talk about. I don't have quite as much information on them, but if anyone has questions, feel free to drop them along the way. I do have time to go over. I hope you guys do too. Twitter. Here's what our snapshot of our agency page, probably from about 6 months ago. We made sure that when we created Twitter, we put a visual up top, and we took this visual into Photoshop, made sure it visually represented our brand according to our branding guidelines, and then also included an organic photo. I believe this photo is now our logo. Whatever you decide to choose, just make sure the visual content speaks to your agency brand. And then, of course, when crafting your Twitter page as well, you need to be sure to add a description, website, and location. We always want to make it easy for our customers to connect to us if they find us on social media. So Twitter is a rapid-fire social media network. This is probably Chris's favorite. And essentially, when you think about the half-life of a tweet, how long it's going to survive the social media newsfeed, it's probably about 7 to 8 seconds. So we do several posts throughout the day. Chris hops on from 4 to 5 in the morning and rapid fire tags a bunch of people and posts happy Monday, happy Wednesday, whatever the day of the week it is, and things like that. He'll share positive quotes in the morning and try to make sure people's days are off to a good start. And he'll direct tag users to make sure he's engaging people again, because as I mentioned, that engagement is super important. I'll go over direct tagging in the upcoming slide, but essentially what the marketing department does every day on Twitter, outside of what Chris is doing, is we make sure to have at least 6 tweets throughout the day. And I would say you definitely should have upwards of 10, but I know for a fact that Chris Paradiso is going to go on every day and fill in those. He's going to bring our number up to about 15 every day. But we have 6 every day at optimal time frames: 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We have content that is very similar to what we post to other social media networks, whether it's a video, blog, or visual content marketing. And we include the appropriate hashtags. And we do it at those optimal time slots as well. And then we have 1 post a day where we essentially thank our network for retweeting our content, because retweets are a huge way to get more traction. It's just like hitting a share on Facebook, where you can reach a whole nother network that your agency is not already directly connected to and start making impressions on more and more prospects online. So we make sure to add all our information in case someone does find us that's outside of our network. And then we'll go into using hashtags and links. Of course, we want to backlink the website, part of the strategy for getting more traction online, getting more engagement in SEO services and things like that. So we include our blog links, we'll include the branded visual, and we include hashtags to make sure we're getting the most traction we can out of our posts. And of course, we post things like our promises, blog, video, and all sorts of good stuff. Now, this is where I was mentioning that we want to engage our network within our posts. So this is a strategy that we do. Again, we do things like Happy Monday. We do thank you for the retweets and all sorts of stuff like that. And we do the @ symbol to tag users that are in our network. And we especially shoot for our loyal fans and raving fans and loyal followers because they'll be more likely to essentially retweet that post or comment on it, and that could show up in other people's newsfeed. Hey, this user commented on this post from Paradiso Insurance. We're just looking for creative ways to expand outside of our network on Twitter, and by direct tagging people on a daily basis, that's a great way to do so. You can also take this connect using @ strategy and think about it on maybe like a commercial lines perspective and say, here are some businesses that are rocking it in Connecticut right now that we noticed, and tag like 8 businesses and have a nice visual that says, businesses in Connecticut and things like that. So it's a great way to just reach out to new people, develop new prospects, either commercial or personal, lines, and just connect with people as a whole. Also, if you want, you can look into scheduling services. This is for when you can't sit down to Twitter at 1 p.m., at 2 p.m., at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Like I mentioned, we have optimal time slots. If you can't sit down at every single time slot, what you can do is get it all done in one shot. Now, Hootsuite is a scheduling service. So I can go on to Hootsuite. This is a screenshot of Hootsuite right here. I can put in the text that I want to include a link right here as well, and also include a visual by attaching it with this paperclip. And then if I hit schedule, that's this calendar right here. If I hit schedule for 1 p.m., 1 p.m. will roll around that day, and that tweet will automatically go out because I had to set it up through Hootsuite to do so. You can do Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, all sorts of good stuff. And if anybody wants more details on social media scheduling, by all means, feel free to reach out to me. We do have some things like advanced search to find more users. I don't want to go too far into this because we are a little short on time, but essentially if you ever want to look for more people that fit a target demographic similar to boosting, you can click on advanced search on Twitter and start filling in more targets, so to speak, on specific details such as words, hashtags, certain locations, and things like that to start connecting with more people outside of your network. And the next thing I'll go over is LinkedIn. I'm going to be pretty brief with LinkedIn. I just want to talk to you guys about creating an all-star profile, first of all. As you notice on the right here, there is a profile strength. If you have an all-star profile strength, it sort of has this little white space here at the top. You're never going to get that filled up to a complete circle. All-star is the highest rank you can achieve on LinkedIn, and it's essentially going to give you better performance overall because of LinkedIn's algorithm. If you reach the all-star profile strength, your posts actually get into more users' social media news feeds on LinkedIn. So it's important that you get up to all-star, and in order to get up to all-star, you just have to fill out all of the profiles or all of the sections on your personal profile, whether it's honors and rewards, test scores, your full name and title. Always be sure to include a professional picture, not something like a selfie, or if you decide to go for a blank photo, you're telling people you really don't care because you didn't want to take the time. They're going to be less apt to connect with you, and I would just highly suggest just having a professional photo of yourself on your LinkedIn. And then just doing all of the profile sections that they suggest to you to get you up to that all-star strength. And additionally, if you are curious about the exact steps it takes to become an all-star, we do have a LinkedIn publication available on Chris Paradiso's profile that says the next LinkedIn all-star is you. You can actually search Chris Paradiso LinkedIn all-star on Google, and it'll be the first result. Or if anybody needs that link, again, I'll have my email at the end of the presentation here. So recommendations, extremely critical. The reason we aim for recommendations is because, again, when we're looking at the customer experience via social media, we want to see what it's like from other users' perspective to do business with us. So we ask for recommendations. Here you can see I gave Chris Paradiso a recommendation on his profile. He gave me one as well. We might as well, since we're working in the same business. It's very easy for me to go up to Chris and say, hey, Chris, do you mind giving me a quick recommendation? And if people visit either of our profiles, now they're going to see that other users in my network are recommending me, and it's just like presenting a word of mouth referral. Next up, skills and endorsements, another sort of referral. This is a way of asking whether or not you would suggest this person as a professional for a specific skill. So for instance, this is Chris Paradiso, skills and endorsements, insurance, life insurance, P&C, commercial insurance, all that good stuff. You can see he has 99+ people saying, yeah, Chris Paradiso is your go-to guy for that specific skill. So it's sort of like another way of generating word-of-mouth referrals on LinkedIn. And then daily posting to your agency's page is critical. We aim to have our posts up by 10 a.m. Because we see the most traction that way, because a whole lot of people in the LinkedIn world are the professionals who love to get the kickstart on their day, get things started up and early. So we try to have our posts up by 10 a.m. to get the most traction and engagement. And we do one post a day, and of course it's the same type of content that you'd see on other social media networks, whether it's branded visuals, organic photos, blogs, or videos and things of that nature. The last thing about LinkedIn is that you need to consistently engage and interact with your network. This is important to LinkedIn's algorithm. If you were to just go on, like posts, comment on posts, and things like that, just actually interact with your newsfeed. You can just scroll down, see what posts actually speak to you or your brand or your overall message, and just interact with people. Because that allows you, for when you make posts, LinkedIn says, well, you are certainly an active member of our social media network, so we're going to give you more visibility. Because you tend to engage with others, so we want others to engage with you. So that's a great way. Just consistently engage every day. We go on probably twice a day for 15 minutes and just hit up a bunch of posts that speak to our message or our agency's brand. Last social network that we'll go over today, and I only have a couple slides here. I apologize for going over a little bit here, folks, but the last social media network I want to speak to you about is Instagram. And this is very similar to Pinterest. It's just organized a little bit differently, but it has the same end goal and objectives. We have a nice train passing downtown, so forgive me there. But with Instagram, visually inclined network, as I mentioned, very important to represent your agency's brand visually as well as organically. You can see that we have pictures of our staff, as well as, this is a picture of Darlene, Dory, and our staff, one of our customers, excuse me, wearing our flags from Paradiso Insurance t-shirts. Great way to get brand recognition and visibility. Here's one of our staff members, Hillary, smiling for the camera. They love it. Here's Gianni. This is Chris's son. We're trying to get people, we're trying to build that personable relationship. We know that people on Instagram tend to be a little bit more lax, laid back and things like that. So we try to send a personable message first and foremost through Instagram, through the visuals that we represent. We also included a video of our dog Max, the rescue dog, again, an agency mascot. Here's a picture of Chris with a child from our hometown who was a cancer patient survivor. Very close friend of our agency's. We love him to death. We even had bought him a bike this year just to say, hey, congratulations, you did an awesome job. It was a brave journey and all sorts of stuff like that. So you're going to be looking to visually represent your agency's brand with this social media network. And we aim to do 2 posts a day in our marketing department between myself and my partner, Alicia. We do one in the morning anytime, one in the afternoon anytime, and Chris will be likely to post once in the morning or once in the evening. So we're shooting for about 3 posts a day on this network. As far as uploading goes, we of course want to get the most traction and engagement possible, just like the other fundamentals we've discussed in the other social medias. So when you upload a post, you have a description block first, and you can briefly talk about your post while including the appropriate hashtags. Then what you want to do is actually tag your location. There will be a tag location button, and we include Paradiso Insurance on all of our posts, unless we're doing something like a partner post where, for instance, we have a nice restaurant downtown here that's one of our partners, J&D's, and we went down to J&D's for lunch, grabbed the picture for our Instagram, and then tagged the post location as J&D's because we're trying to give them some traction and engagement on that type of post. But most of the time we're tagging Paradiso Insurance in case someone needs our information while they're on our Instagram. So then after that, you can go ahead and upload. Your post will look very similar to this. You can get likes, comments, and things like that. People can share your post right from Instagram if they'd like. And what we also do is hashtag hiding. So what we do is we have a nice description here in our posts, and I'll see if I can get this to show up for you guys really quick here. But what we do is we essentially put a line of dots down to include more hashtags at the end of the post. The reason being is if we include a bunch of hashtags in a post, our audience might see it as a little bit desperate or spammy, and that's not the message that we want to send. We just want to build relationships and things like that. So we craft our posts, and then what we do is, since we put a line of dots, we'll do dot, enter the next line, dot, enter the next line, dot, enter the next line. And that makes it so that way when you're just scrolling through Instagram on the newsfeed, your posts will show up as a small description. It'll look very normal, not spammy whatsoever. and there will be a read more button. And if you click on the read more, then all of the dots would appear in the hashtags. You could have like 11 hashtags hidden underneath to make sure you're getting the most traction you could possibly get on Instagram. And I'm trying to get an example up here on my phone. Unfortunately, I've been engaging way too much on Instagram, so it's hard to find the insurance posts. But essentially, I'll just show you a direct example, actually, just so you guys can get an idea. On all of our posts, we have, so here would be one of our Instagram posts. You can see at the bottom here, here's a picture of me in New York from last week. We had a nice CEO visit with some of our friends out of New York. But if you scroll down a little bit here, you'll see the dots and the hidden hashtags. And I hope this is showing up so you guys can see it. But by including all these hashtags, for anybody that searches for any of those keywords, it'll come up on their feed. So that about wraps it up. I hope you guys got a good idea of the customer experience through social media. I hope we weren't going too fast and that this was a great pace for everybody. But of course, my information is on the screen here for anyone that needs it. By all means, I love helping out agents and brokers, whether it's with marketing or just tossing ideas around. If you want to go out for coffee, anything like that, feel free to send me a message. I would love to stay connected with you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. You can just look for Joe Esty on my social media networks, or just go ahead and shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to send you all my information, or you know, have a chat with you about strategy, marketing, or anything for that matter.